Hey everyone, this is Mike Andes, and you're listening to episode 194 of the Business Bootcamp podcast. Today, we're actually pretty close here now to 200 episodes. So I'm going to make an announcement here of something we're going to be doing special here until we get to the 200 marker. So stay tuned for that. But first, let's say thank you to our sponsor for today's show. It makes it all possible. It's FreshBooks. If you haven't already, go to freshbooks.com/bootcamp. Get a free 30-day trial of their software. And the reason I like FreshBooks so much is it's perfect for listeners of the podcast. Between $0 to $100 million, $0 to $1 million, $100 million would be nice, but $0 to $1 million, if that's your gross revenue in your business, it's the perfect solution for you because it makes all the complicated P&L, profit and loss, things like your payables and your receivables, it consolidates all that information to very easily digestible graphs and charts. And so instead of having some other type of software that's number one, super expensive, and number two, offers 90% of the stuff you don't even need as far as complexity, inventory management, barcode stuff, and other systems you don't even need. For a small business, FreshBooks is the solutions. They're really the best solution, I believe, for small businesses. So if you haven't already, check it out. You get 30 days. You don't have to put your credit card in. And if you continue on after that, it's literally a few bucks a month. So check it out, freshbooks.com/bootcamp, and put in the where did you hear about us section, Business Bootcamp Podcast. And in fact, they actually have a little plugin that you can do payroll with called Gusto. And Gusto has now joined with us here on the podcast and is going to be a sponsor here in the just a couple weeks, actually. So they're going to be starting their sponsorship of the show. And so we're really excited about that. They offer great ways of doing payroll. And so hold on for details. That's going to be coming pretty shortly. They're going to give us an exclusive offer for just the podcast. So I'm looking forward to that because payroll is a pain if you're a business owner. It can get a little intense and you don't want to do it wrong to get fined and things like that by the IRS. So looking forward to that. Now, the announcement I want to make, we're coming up here on 200 episodes and I'm going to do something I haven't done before. Before in the past, we had more live call-ins and people really like that. Literally, our listenership almost doubles on the episodes where we have live callers with real businesses. So what I want to do is for the next probably 4 to 5 episodes, I'm gonna have those kind of shows. And what we're gonna do is, if you want to be on the show, you can need to email businessbootcamppodcast@gmail.com. That's businessbootcamppodcast@gmail.com. And in one sentence, in the headline, all you need to do is put podcast show or I want to be on the podcast, whatever it is. I don't care about the subject line. I read them all anyways. In the subject, in the body of the email, you get one sentence. And if you're at 2, you probably won't get in. It needs to be one sentence as to why you want to be on the show and what I can help you with for 20 minutes. So we're going to cut it at 20 minutes. You're going to get 20 minutes recorded on the phone with myself. We're going to record that. I'm going to do it for 20 people. So I'm going to 20 minutes for 20 people, and we're going to choose 3 to 5 of those maybe for the show. And we'll actually play those here in a few weeks. So again, if you have something that I can help you with starting, growing, or saving your business, and in one sentence, you can convey what I can help you do, whether it be increasing sales, how to improve your marketing strategy, just how in general, how to grow the business, or if it's struggling, what to do with your employees, how to create culture within a team, website development, whatever it is, you got one sentence, tell me what I can help you with in 20 minutes. And so I'm going to choose 20 of those emails, and we're going to make calls, and we're going to have your 20 minutes, and then 3 of those, or 3 to 5 of those, we'll put on the show here. For all the listeners to hear. So again, businessbootcamppodcast@gmail.com, or if you just go to businessbootcamppodcast.com, you can just fill out, get the contact form from there. But just email me. It's so much easier. So again, I'm going to choose 20 of you to do that, and then 3 to 5 of you. So 20 of you will actually get a phone call from me, and we'll do a call. And so when you email me, I'll email you back and set up a time that we can meet. Usually I got to do that at my evening/night schedule. And so I'll set that up with you and we'll figure all that out. And I think it'll be really cool to be able to listen to that. So now that's out of the way, that announcement, that's going to be big. Definitely do that. If you have been trying to email me and try to get on a phone call and I just haven't had the time, I'm going to commit to those 20 calls. So make sure you send that email there. Now, today, I want to update you, number one, on what I'm kind of doing with my business, Augusta Lawn Care Services. And then 2, I want to talk about something that I've been thinking a lot about lately. So first of all, let's talk about where I'm at right now. So as most of you know, we decided to go ahead and start a second shop, a second location for Augusta Lawn Care Services. And if you're new to this show and you haven't heard me talk about before, Augusta Lawn Care Services, we have 2 kind of different divisions, the service side and then the retail side. The retail side, we do trucking and the deliveries of soil, mulch, and gravel. And then on the service side, we do landscaping and lawn care. And so right now we're growing that out. We've been in for about 2 years. We've had a shop almost 2 years now in a small market where I live, pretty close to where I live. And we're going to be doing, that location would do probably $1 million in revenue in the next calendar year. This year, probably do about 800 to 900, more like 900,000 in revenue. And so, but the thing is, I want to prove that the business model works in a $3 to $4 million market and not just in a smaller market. Because I kind of live in a smaller city/town, and so I'm going to kind of go right after the big guys. Gonna like have to lower our prices a little bit as far as the retail side to compete, but our volume is going to be much, much larger. So looking forward to that. Like I said, it's going to be probably 3 to 4 times the business size in the next couple years. I think next year, my target is really to go about to 1.5, and then it's just going to go up from there. And so we're looking forward to that. Lots of stuff we're doing right now, like as far as we have 2 acres in a prime location down in Bellingham, which is the larger market that we're going into. And so what we've been doing the past couple of weeks, we had to bring in over 1,000 tons of gravel, which is not cheap, but over 1,000 tons, and we still aren't finished. But we had to essentially, first off, we graded this whole thing with a bulldozer. Then we brought in all the gravel. And then right now what we're doing is making all the material bins with those big concrete blocks that are 6 feet by 2 feet. And they're rectangular in size and shape. And so we're building all the material walls, essentially where we keep all the rock and the dirt and the soils and all that sort of stuff. So we're building those out. The office, we are actually going to take off the grid. So we're not going to connect to power. We're going to have solar powered for the entire shop. So right now we're getting the roof of the shop that we're putting in. We're going to get those installed for the solar panels and the batteries and everything like that. So we don't have to tie into the grid, because we're on a state highway and it literally would take 10 months just to get the permit, and it would cost like $20,000+ and probably a whole lot more plus, just because for permitting, and then they have to get it engineered, and we have to replace a power pole and like the whole bit. And so that was going to be really long, really expensive. And if you know me, it's kind of like move fast, move quick. And, if we have a few problems, we'll figure it out down the road. And so right now we're just trying to kind of do the lean model. We're not, I'm investing as little as I possibly can at this new location as far as money to get it started. And then next spring, we'll really put more trucks, trailers, equipment over there and start the service end of things over there. But we want to kick it off this year. And a lot of you have been asking, especially on the landscape business course side of things, what my lease terms are and like that. Essentially, we got this place for 5 years. I was able to get the first 6 months free because we're going to be putting so much money into the land improvements. And then also just because essentially before we came in, this was just barren land. It was great location, very expensive real estate, but there was no like buildings and things like that. And we're bringing all this material in, leveling it out, bringing in signage, making it look beautiful. And so that's why we're going to get a super good deal on our monthly rent. And then they also gave us 6 months up front of free rent. So when you're negotiating a lease, depending on your market, like some places you should just be grateful to even have a lease location like New York and things like that to get space. However, if you're in certain markets, a lot of markets, real estate, the owners of the real estate, the landlords, they want someone long-term. So if you're going to commit for 5 years, they're willing to give you a little bit of slack up front. And they know that it takes a while to, a lot of upfront costs, build out costs, making your shop or your store or your cafe or whatever look good. You got to build it out. And so they realize there's a lot of upfront costs, and a lot of times they're willing to give you free rent if you commit to a long-term lease, like 5 years, 3 to 5 years contract. And so that's what we did. And if we're going to put all this money, put $100,000 into the land improvements, I definitely want to get my money's worth by being there for 5 years at least, and probably more. But that's what we did. So some of you have been asking about that. So that's where we're at right now. There's a lot of growth, a lot of things going on. The next 3 weeks are going to be absolute craziness because we're hoping to start the location August 7th. Do I think we're going to hit that number? I'm not 100% sure. It really depends. Like this whole power thing and the solar panels kind of threw us through a loop. And then also the signage has been kind of an issue. Just there's signage currently on our property, and we're trying to help the other business, like trying to be nice to them, but then also like getting them to take them down so we can put ours up because it's part of our lease agreement. And so trying to be diplomatic with that and just get it all taken care of, and keeping our neighbors happy is a challenge. But we definitely are, our signs out front are gonna be big. They're gonna be 20 feet wide and 10 feet tall. So it's massive. It's like almost the size of a billboard. And so we're going to be putting that up, and we're going to be landscaping all around it with like steps and boulders and retaining walls and stuff like that. So looking forward to that. We'll light it all. We still got to obviously put the office in, and then we got to do the design on that. So I have this really cool stencil of our logo that we're going to spray paint onto the wall inside and making kind of look that kind of cool modern vibe with gray wall. And then we got to put fencing up. We got to get all the materials set up. So we've been talking with our suppliers, getting, negotiating some deals there. And, then we're going to open. And so it's 3 weeks of that. We've been hiring more people. So last week we hired one of the office managers for over there. We got our full-time driver lined up. He'd been kind of off, not working with us for a while because he kind of hurt his back and everything. But this new driver position that opened up over there is going to allow him to work full time. So we're really excited about that. Also, we just hired someone on Saturday. He's going to be starting, a younger guy that we're going to be able to train up, and he graduates next year, and then we can grow with him. Hopefully this coming week I have one more other person that I hopefully want to get over there for office and be able to load people with a skid steer and things like that. So definitely looking forward to all of that. It's going to be a lot to learn. I'm going to learn a lot, and I hope you guys are excited for the journey, that I can kind of share the stories with you. And I hope I kind of wait until like winter when I get a little more time on my hands, and I can do more videos of showing you guys what has all been happening on grounds, showing you the new location, things like that. If you do want to see the new location and kind of like some of the video stuff, I do share that on Augusta Lawn Care Services. So if you just go to YouTube, you can subscribe to the channel, just Augusta, AUGUSTA, and I share every single month kind of what's going on at Augusta as far as jobs. And then this coming month, will be a video for the new location. You'll see the behind the scenes of us grading everything, installing signs, putting the office, all that good stuff. So that'll be cool. So that's number one thing I want to talk about today, is just kind of an update on what I've been doing. Some of you have been asking, and a lot of you have been looking at the videos and things. And so that's cool. Now, number two thing that I want to talk about, and something I've been thinking about a lot this past week, before I forget, one more other update I wanted to share is a lot of you 3 or 4 of you had emailed me and asked if I went ahead and actually told my team what I had talked about in episode 193 about being vulnerable and being vulnerable with your team, your employees, your staff as the business owner. And so a few of you had asked, did you go ahead and do that? And yes, I did last Wednesday. I talked to them, and I don't know what like the long-term results of that's going to be, but I do hope that being that in that vulnerable state with the team in that office meeting will be beneficial, allow them to feel open up to me, and there'll be that line of communication. They won't feel intimidated and things like that, and they'll understand kind of where I'm coming from. And so I did do that last Wednesday at the team meeting. This Wednesday at the team meeting, I'm going to be talking about what I'm about to talk to you about right now. This is the second thing I want to talk about on today's episode, and that is, as a business owner and as a business in general, I think a lot of times we get hung up on what we're selling, and we get so enthralled or like in the weeds of our specific industry. For instance, I do lawn care and landscaping. It's easy for a lawn care landscaping business owner to get caught up in how straight the lines are, or like how we mow the grass, what type of equipment we have, our website, all of those things. And those things are all important. They're all very important. But what I think it was an eye-opening thing for me this week when I heard this, and when I really started to think about it, is we are in the business of selling reactions. Regardless of what product or service you sell, whether it be lawn care and landscaping services, or you sell products and you sell gum or water bottles or cameras or pens. I'm just naming all the things around me right now, or microphones or computers or cell phones, like whatever it is around you, like whatever product or service you sell, you are not selling the physical product. You are selling the reaction that product or service brings. What do I mean by that? This is what I'm gonna be telling my team on Wednesday, is we don't sell lawn care and landscaping services. We don't sell for someone's lawn to be mowed. We sell the reaction of when they come home from work and we have mowed their lawn and it looks great and the edges are straight and the beds are weeded and everything looks trim, and they come back and they have that reaction of happiness that they don't have to go out there and do it, or they can spend time with their family, or after a long days of work, they don't have to go out and mow the grass. We sell that, literally that 1 second, that reaction that they get when they drive into the driveway is what we're selling. We aren't selling the fact that those blades of grass went from 4 inches to 2 inches. That's not what we're selling. That's just a commodity of moving a grass blade, or of moving some material like gravel onto someone's driveway. That is not what we're selling. We are selling the reaction to the product, which is the gravel or the grass being shorter, whatever it is. We are selling the reaction to our service. If you are in the restaurant business, if you're selling food, if you are creating dishes of seafood and salads and drinks, it is not the commodity of the food that you are selling. It's the reaction by your customers to that product. That reaction of them feeling satisfied, them feeling happy, them having a sociable experience, and going out of your restaurant feeling excited about life, feeling like they had a chance to unplug from work or the stresses in family or relationships, and they were able to go and have a good meal. It's not the meal in itself, that's a commodity. That's the thing you exchange with them, but the reaction is what they're buying. The reaction is what you need to sell them on. That's why some restaurants that sell great food never survive on a business end of things, and they go out of business, is because they forget that the food, yes, it might be good, yes, it might be amazing, but the experience and the reaction that your customers have to your food, not just your food, but to the decor and the way that you treat them, and their entire experience at your store, or at your when they're on your website, whatever you are selling, that storefront, whenever they have that reaction to your product or service, that's what you're selling. And when you get that, when that North Star you don't become aligned with that North Star, and you start focusing on other things, yes, your food might get better. Yes, you might make the scrambled eggs just perfectly such a way, but if you don't have the reaction of the customer as a North Star, you'll forget about how your employees treat the customers. How are they having repeat business? Does that customer come back again? If they had a good reaction, there's a good chance they're going to come back. I heard a stat this week that was really interesting. If someone comes to a restaurant, and they come to a restaurant and they have a flawless experience, everything was great, the food was great, the server was fantastic, everything was just prim, proper, trim and clean, the bathrooms were clean, everything was just great, they had a great experience. There's a 20% chance, if that first experience is great, the customer will come back for a second experience. If that second experience, that second dining experience, they come back again, they were happy with the first, 20% of people will come back a second time if the first time was great. 20% of the people on the second visit, if 20% of them will come back for a third visit, if their second visit is perfect and great and wonderful. There's no increase in percentage of return customers. And then the third visit, this is amazing, when the third visit, like the third repeat time that they come to your restaurant, is a good experience, that there is a 70% chance of them coming back for a fourth visit. So what I would encourage you to do is focus on the reactions by your new clients to try to convert them from new clients to recurring clients. You don't have to pay a whole lot of money if you know that someone's been at your restaurant 3, 5, 6, 10 times. There's a really good chance they're going to come back again if you continue to have the same service, the same systems in place to generate a consistent product. So what I'd encourage you to do is get new clients. That's important. The sales aspect of things, getting people in the door, but make sure they convert from the first time, good experience. Second time, good experience. Third time, good experience. Now you have a recurring customer that's going to come back time and time and time again, and you're going to create reciprocity, and that cost per lead, that cost per acquisition of a new customer begins to drop because now you're relying on recurring relationships with clients that you've already generated a relationship with. So it doesn't just go for the restaurant business either, though. Like, when we're going to talk about this at our next team meeting, in like, okay, we have this retail side of business. I'm going to actually pull it up right now as I talk to you guys. We use a software system for our retail side of things. I'm just going to pull it up here, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly how often our people come back. So what this software does for us, it does all our credit card processing and everything, but it also tracks the people by their card information as far as how many times they come back, and what percentage of people come once, twice, 3 times, 10 times. And this is for sorry, I'm just looking at here. This is for clients that buy our soil, our bark, our mulch, gravel, things like that. So here we go. Customer frequency. I'm just looking here in the past 30 days, or this might be 1 week. So one visit, 80 people came 1 time. 11 people came 2 times. 7 people came 3 times. When you get to 5 visits, there was 5 people. And so that is, let's see here, like 7% of people that came to the shop came more than 5 times. And so what I'd encourage you to do is, obviously track that. Number one, out of the 111 people that came to the shop, we know, 5 to 6% of them are coming 5+ times. That's our objective, trying to increase that number. So I want to talk to you all today, obviously telling you guys what I'm doing with my business, but also talking to you about what it means to sell the reaction to your product or service and what that can do, and open your eyes to the fact that you don't just sell the commodity, you don't sell the food, you don't sell the lawn care, you don't sell, the commodity thing that you sell. It's the reaction to your product or service that you want to focus on. And don't forget about emailing me at businessbootcamppodcast@gmail.com. Just in the headline, just say, I want to be on the podcast. And in 1 sentence, tell me how I can help you start, grow, or save your business. And 20 of you are going to get a 20-minute phone call, and we're going to hash out how we can do that. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you so much for coming up here on 200 episodes. It's been a great ride. Until next time, be great, because nothing else pays.